hard to go like this, like you need 2 hands to do it, your cartridge is probably clogged. Okay. More than likely, the cartridge, I've never really seen the lines get clogged unless it's like sitting there for like 6 months or something. Okay. More than likely, it's going to be the cartridge because that plunger gets stuck in there. If there's a spring in there, sometimes the ink sets up in there and it just clogs it. So if you can't prime, let's say you got a bad knowledge check on your blue. Prime that cartridge. That's why the first thing I did with the yellow was prime it, making sure everything is good from the bulk system in. If I can prime it to the bulk system without the bulk system, that's fine. You gotta go to the head next. You gotta go to your capping station. Because if your capping station is clogged and isn't pumping correctly, that's gonna affect the head also. So you gotta check all those variables too with the nozzle check.
And you said, now let's say if it's troubling, like if it's hard to get the suction out, what was the next thing that we did? We just go like we can still prime it even though it's a little bit hard, right? But we know that the cartridge is clogged. So what's the way to unclog the cartridge?
Okay. Another way to check that it is the cartridge is there's you see the tubes that go on the little fitting. You can take it off the fitting. If you do it slow enough, it's gonna pull air through it, so it's gonna go backwards, so it's not gonna drip. So if you do it slow enough, then you can stick the syringe in the holes and prime. So if you can prime that, then you know the bottles and the hole are fine. It's your cartridge itself. So that's how you can narrow it down also to what it is.
And do you recommend using, like let's say, because then I need a backup of empty cartridges to replace this, right? So do you recommend just using a cleaning cartridge and filling it up with the glue and just using, like not using the cleaning solution, let's say I already have an empty cartridge basically here. Just use this as the main one or no? These are these.
A cleaning cartridge you can't use because it doesn't have the proper fitting for that. Now if you, let's say you did want to use it with just ink in it, the problem is going to be it's going to drip everywhere. Yeah. So that's why we have a bulk system, because if we didn't have anything and we just filled up cartridges, it would be dripping everywhere.
So then I need to replace this cartridge, so then I just have to buy
A cartridge set, and then you would just take that little tube off, put it in the other one, prime it, so the cartridge is full of ink, and you just start printing it.
But yeah, the cartridge set.
Now, if you do this, and let's say you don't have a set in your house, and you're waiting for us to get you it, if you're not going to get overnighted or anything, I would suggest putting the cleaning cartridge in, okay, and flushing it out. Because if not, if the ink sits in there and you're not using it, it could clog. So if you're gonna wait a week or so to get a cartridge, you're gonna want to flush it out with the cleaning cartridge.
And how often does that happen with the cartridges?
Not often. We don't see it often, and we actually rarely use ours because we're working on different machines all the time. So sometimes we might be using this bulk system, sometimes we might be using another one. So it doesn't happen often at all. It can happen, and that's a possibility, which is why I bring that to your plate. I see that go more often than the tube and the bottle.
Okay.
So that's why I bring that up. But like I said, if you're using it, you shouldn't really have that many problems because the ink is always flowing through there. You're not getting any cloggage or anything like that.
Based on your experience, depending on the operator's mistakes or carelessness, what parts do you see breaking more often that we should maintain spare of?
The head and the capping station.
Head and capping station. These are the two main things that I know.
Yes. That's all part of the clogging and the maintenance. You'll get the ones that say, oh, I maintain it, and then you get their machines in here for repair and they're horrible. Like they're like around the capping station. I mean, some people don't get training, and maybe that's why also, because they just think like, I just have to wipe around the head, and they don't deal with the capping station, and then the capping station looks horrible, and then they have clogging, you know. So that could be why too, but the people that do get training really have no excuse, because we do go through everything with you, how to clean it, you know.
capping station, did you know how to clean it there? Did you go on it or no?
Yeah.
That's the whole part of it. Okay, you go in the middle and you do it with the swab.
Just around.
I have that
Oh,
part on
this-
video.
You have that one, right?
That's the one we did on video, right? When you were doing. Yep.
This is the capping station, right?
Yeah, and then the pump with the wiper is part of it.
Yeah.
That comes as a whole something.
Yeah, these two. So we just have to get those.
So only the capping thing, the problem, not the other assembly, not the wiper part was not
The
broken.
pump, the wiper you can change, every
How
so
often?
often. You're gonna wanna wipe that down too, because you're not gonna want ink buildup on there.
Right, but how often do we need to change the wiper?
You could just actually take that out and just wipe it yourself, it's rubber. So you could, yeah, you could just wipe it yourself.
But just based on the use, like
Mhm.
how often do we need to change it? 6 months?
Not often if you clean it, at all. If you clean it well every day, you probably won't even have to replace it. Now, with clogging, if it's not used, that pump can get clogged also. Because what it does is, you see that wiper, when it does a head cleaning, it comes over to this side and then it goes back over to that side. Okay? What that does, it has a gear in it, it has a tube inside the pump. The gear locks in place, so it basically stops the suction and then it releases the suction. So that tube inside can get clogged also. So you're gonna wanna make sure that's not clogged. That's why the big thing is use it. You know,
If you keep using it, no problem.
you shouldn't have.
So we should, basic idea is you should print a couple of t-shirts in the morning, print a couple of in the afternoon, at night, print a couple of them, do the head cleaning, go home. In the morning, come back again, do the same thing. But a good thing between this and the other machine is that what I'm hearing here is that you don't need to take out and put the cleaning kits at night when you go home. You just leave it as it is. The other guy was saying, no, you have to take it out and put the cleaning kits in. That was supposed to be done every couple of hours.
What machine was that?
And this has.
It's called All American Direct to Garment Printer Sale, something like that. All American, you can go online and check it.
Refers that.
They have just now started it, and I think in the first round they sold all